The next part is program 2. So in program 2, what we're going to do is we're going to let the user input 6 values, and then we are going to store the 6 values inside this array named hello. So this array will have 6 elements. After we store it inside that array, we're going to sum up the first, the third, and the fifth value as count even, and then we're going to store the product of the summation. And same thing goes to the second, the fourth, the sixth value. We're going to store it in count on, and we will print these two at the end of the program. So here is the sample of the expected output. So here we have calculate sum. This one is the initial, the first line that prompt the user to do the stuff. And then we have integer input. We are going to do it for 6 times to let the user input 6 values. And here we're going to print out the result of the summation. So here this one 90, it means 20 plus 30 plus 40 equals to 90. Is it? Yeah. And this one 105 is 25 plus 37 plus 43. Okay. So let's come to here. Okay, so starting from the data part, we initialize the hello and total even and total odd. Okay, we don't put value for it because later we're going to store user input inside the array. Okay, so this one is the intro prompt, which is this line. We just type it inside, and also the prompt to let the user input integer value here, and then the result, which is this line, and then the even result is an even summation result, this line, and also the odd summation result, this line. So yeah, same thing. Okay, and then going on to the code part, the first line here is offset intro. We're moving the address of the intro inside this one edx. So yeah, we're moving it inside edx, and then when we call write string, it will print out the value of edx. And then here we put two rows empty. This one, put empty and put empty. So the next line will be generated with empty rows in between. Okay, line 22, we're moving value 6 inside our counter register. We're moving value 6 because we're going to let the user input 6 values. So this procedure will be repeated 6 times. So that's why the counter should have the value 6. And then this one ESI, we put 0 inside. This one ESI, it serves purpose inside the array square bracket, the square bracket of the array, to let the array know which element it is at. So yeah, same thing, we initialize it with 0. Okay, after that we're moving on to our input loop. This is the first loop in the program. So we move our prompt address inside edx, and then when we call write string, it will it will call this line integer input. So when it call integer input, and then after that it will call read integer. So it will read the integer input, for example this one 20, by the user. And then after it reads, it will automatically store it inside EAX. And then line 29 EAX, we're moving the value of EAX inside the array. So this here means hello plus ESI. So ESI is 0. So this inside this bracket will have, it is actually bracket 0. So it is 0 because 0 here stands for the first element of the array. Yeah, so the first element of the array, we will have this value, this user input value. Okay, and then after we store that value inside the array as the first element, we're going to add 4 to ESI. The reason we're adding 4 is because we are using double word for hello. So it will have 4 bytes. So how to say? Okay, for the first element, it starts at 0. So if we are going to the second element, it's like 4 byte, 4 byte, 4 byte. So we're going to add 4 to move to the second element. So we add 4 to ESI, so that in the next loop, we have ESI equals to 4. So the value of the EAX in the next loop will be stored inside the second element of the array. And the same thing goes on until the sixth loop, until it ends the input loop for 6 values. Okay, so that's it for the input loop. And then moving on to the line 33, we're moving value 0 inside total even to initialize it as 0. And then ECX counter, we put it to 3 because for total even, we're adding up this one. Where is it? Yeah, we're adding up first and third and fifth value, so in total 3 value. So we're going to do the summation process for 3 times. So yeah, so the counter is set to 3. And then ESI 0, we reinitialize it as 0 because just now after this loop the value is already changed. Okay, we initialize it as 0. And then the next step, count even loop. So for the count even loop, we're adding the first value, third value, and fifth value, which means it is hello 0, the hello add, and hello 16, these 3 elements inside the array. Okay, so ESI is 0, so here we have the first array 0. Here inside the bracket is 0, so we have the first array here. We're moving the value of the first array inside EAX, and then we put this EAX value to our total even. So our total even here will have the decimal value for the first array. For example, if the user input 32, so the total even here will have 32 inside it. Okay, and then the line 40, we're adding 8 to the ESI. So here we're adding 8, not adding 4, because from the first element moving on to the second element, we're adding 4. But from the first to the third value, so here add 4, so in total add 9, so that we can move from the first one to the third one. So add 8 to ESI, and then we're going to loop this thing again. So on the second loop, the ESI will be 8. So hello 8, for example, if the third input by the user is this one, 77, so the 77 will go inside this total even, and then it will loop until this one, until the fifth value is added to the total even. So that's it for the count even loop. And then the same thing goes to total odd. So we initialize this counter as 3, and then the ESI as 4, because we're starting from the second element. So the second element, 4 byte, the 1, 2, 3, 4, so it will start from 4 because it is the second element. Yeah, 4. And then same thing goes to here, is repeating the same thing. We're also adding 8, so if we add 8, it will go from second to the fourth value, and then to the sixth value on the next loop. So after we finish this loop, we're going to call CRLF. We're going to put an empty row, yeah, and then move our result, move the result from is this one, result sum hello index. So we are going to print, wait, where is it? Okay, so we're going to print this line, result sum hello square bracket index, and then print it, and then we put an empty rows in between. And then the last step is here, is these 2 lines. So we're going to print this from sum hello square bracket even blah blah blah. We print it, and then we're moving the total even here, which is the value that we have just summed up. We're going to print it out, so we put the value inside EAX, and then the right decimal, it will automatically print out the value inside whatever value is inside EAX, so we'll have the value printed out. And then we do enter to go to the next line, and then same thing goes to here. We print this prompt first, sum hello square bracket odd index location, and move it into EDX, and then we're going to write string to print out this string, and then same thing. So we put the total summation of the odd location array element inside EAX, and we print the value inside EAX, and then we put a space at the end. Okay, so that's it for the part. So I'm going to start debugging to okay, for example, I put 20, 45, 62, 81, 83, 16, some random numbers. So we can see the sum hello even here, it sums out this one 20 plus 62 plus 16, so the total is 96. And then for the odd, it will add up this and this to, yeah, this one. So that is it for program 2.